Yield back. Ms. Gabbard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen. General Breedlove, you talked about in your opening remarks a few examples of American interference in foreign elections in the past. To add to the examples that you gave, there was a study that was released at the end of 2016 documenting 81 elections in 47 countries between 1946 and the year 2000, where the United States either overtly or covertly sought to influence the outcome of elections in these countries, and were successful more often than not. And this doesn't include any of the CIA or military regime change overthrows that also happen in addition to this. So, you know, as recent as the Iraq War, during the Iraq War, we paid millions of dollars to plant propaganda articles in Iraqi newspapers, sought to influence Russia's elections in 1996. I say all this is to raise the question about if someone turns on cable news today and to hear a lot of the conversations here, one would think that Russia's actions in 2016, this is the first time this has ever happened, and that the United States does not have the history that we do with the tactics that we have and may continue to use. So my question is, how should anyone take the issues that you're raising and the attacks that you're citing in any context other than the historical context that exists?
So, ma'am, you made the point that I was trying to make in my opening statement, that I'm not surprised, and I don't think anyone in America should be surprised that Russia tried to influence our election, because, as you have aptly described, we have been into that business in the past. And I would like to join Mr. Lumpkin's remarks in that this word hybrid war, I don't think gets it. It makes it sound new and exciting, and it's really old tools used in new ways. And what I didn't say well in my opening statement is the thing that surprises me the most is the boldness that Russia believes it can have in our spaces, that they can do these things and absolutely get away with them.
Have we lacked that boldness in U.S. actions in other countries?
As I said, I'm trying to open the conversation
Sure.
beyond the election to all of the elements of national power: targeted assassination, SCADA attacks, information attacks, elections. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there is a broader attack on us than just the election piece, and we need to be examining that in a holistic view, and then again, I think, replying in a holistic way.
Thank you. You know, Mr. Garnaut, you talked a lot, obviously you focused a lot on China and China's actions, both in Australia, but generally, and in different ways that they are seeking to influence policies, elections, views, et cetera. Why, and you know, whether it's you or General, and any of you would like to answer this, why is it that, again, all we hear about is Russia's actions generally if you turn on the news, whereas there are countries like China, like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar, and other countries who, you know, purchase TV ads, who fund think tanks here in Washington, who, you know, fund institutions in our universities seeking to achieve that same objective? Why is it that Russia's actions stand out from all of the rest that have been going on for quite some time?
Look, that's a great question, and I think one answer may be that because China's very good at it, that they put an enormous amount of effort into making sure we don't talk about what it's doing. So if you look at the pattern of influence and interference, a lot of it is about suppressing contrary voices in our systems, you know, shutting down conversations about the nature of the Chinese Communist Party and what it's doing, while nurturing others. And it's quite, and unlike Russia, where Russia seems to be, you know, as much for a good time rather than a long time, the Chinese are strategic and patient, and they set down foundations of organisations, very consistent narratives over a long period of time. So often it's quite incremental in the way that China behaves, whereas Russia tends to do these kind of focused, sharp kind of strikes. So very different methodologies, but you could argue that But it doesn't mean that China's less important. You know, I think that we've just failed to recognise a lot of what activity has been going on, and that needs to change, and it's starting to change, certainly in Australia, and starting to change in the United States.
Thank you.